Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the White Scars as we get into the White Scars Fortress Monastery of Quanzhou. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And don't forget to hit the little bell notification icon right next to subscribe. YouTube is really big on that. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on Quanzhou. Quanzhou is the fortress monastery of the White Scar Space Marine chapter, located under chapter homeworld of Cho'Garis. Mundus Planus, better known to its people as Cho'Garis, is a fertile feudal world of the Imperium that exists in the semi-feudal pre-industrial state. When Jagatai Khan departed on the Great Crusade, the unified empire he had carved from the nomadic people of his world dissolved back into the feuding tribes of horsemen that had existed before his arrival. This was believed by some in the White Scars Legion to be the intention of the Primarch, as the restoration of conflict between the steppe tribes ensured that his legion would have a supply of highly skilled neophytes to draw from the warring tribes in the future. The White Scars are every bit the product of the wild steppes of Cho'Garis. As with many Space Marine homeworlds, the people there remain in the state that made them such a perfect recruitment source, and the warring tribes have never been properly united since the time of the Great Khan. The tribes live exactly as they have for countless generations, roaming the steppes following great herds of gargantuan grazers, as dictated by the cycles of the season. Prior to the coming of Jagatai Khan, the Cho'Garins were a divided people, the planet subject to the oppressive rule of city dwellers. Though these were conquered by the young Primarch, he saw that to establish his people in those same cities would ultimately lead to the end of all that made what they were. Instead, only one city was left standing, Quanzhou, a glittering palace of marble high atop the Kunkarta Mountains. This city-sized fortress monastery, the ancient palace of the Kagan himself, is the adobe of the White Scars, and it is said that within its towers is an entire forest teeming with game. The winding valley pass that leads to the fortress monastery's great adamantium gates is lined with several heads of countless defeated foes, and the festering halls within its marble walls are heavily hung with the great trophies taken from the White Scars heroes from 1,000 battlefields. The interior of the walls are said to contain flowing rivers and forests running with game, which the Khan hunts for sport. Quanzhou is the spiritual home of the White Scars chapter, and is truly a formidable and magnificent sight to behold. Like all the Astarte Fortress Monastery, Quanzhou is armored and void-shielded to withstand any siege or bombardment that might befall it. Armed to repel attackers from land, air, or space, its walls bristle with enough heavy ordnance to flatten the hive city. Every aerial approach to the fortress monastery is overlooked by Icarius pattern las cannons and a macro laser known to the White Scars as Khan's Fury. It stands like a spear of vengeance to lance spaceborne enemies from the heavens. The fortress monastery's librarius is a lightning-racked spire, where the chapter's librarians, often referred to as Stormseers, study their lore and chronicle the deeds of the Khans. They also preside over the chapter's astropaths as they relay psychic messages throughout the void, communing with the greater Imperium and those White Scar brotherhoods hunting across the galaxy. The White Scars live apart from their people, descending down to the steppes only once in a standard decade, to observe the wars between the tribes, and to choose potential recruits for the chapter. The constant warring ensures that the people remain strong, though the White Scars have to be vigilant that such feuds are not retained as aspirants or when they become neophytes and neophyte initiates. Another manner in which the aspirants are chosen is by way of tradition of youngsters entering the mountain to pay homage to the tomb of the fallen White Scar. Such pilgrimage are perilous in the extreme, and simply surviving one is a great deed in itself that may, if the pilgrim is deemed worthy, see them grant a place in the ranks of the chapter's aspirants. Because the tribes from which the White Scars recruit are so attuned to the land and the seasons of their world, the chapter's battle brothers have an intrinsic empathy with their environment. Wherever they go, they are able to read the soil beneath their feet and the air in their lungs, and gain the instant understanding of how best to fight in such places. Though Chogoris is a land of wide open steppes, punctuated by mighty forests and towering mountains, the enhanced physiology of the Adeptus Astartes multiplies the Chogoran deep-seated understanding of the land and turns it into an all but preternatural awareness. As a result, the White Scars can use every element of any natural environment as an ally, whether speeding over a sparse desert expanse, or trekking a foe through the vine-choked glades of an alien death world. It has been observed that many White Scars are ill at ease amongst entirely manufactured environments, such as hive cities and void stations, yearning to breathe natural air and feel Earth beneath their feet. But as Space Marines, this is a simple matter of preference, and no deterrent to their fearsome battlefield capabilities. And those were 40 facts on the Fortress Monastery of the White Scars, Quanzhou. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever forum you guys use. The reason I ask you guys to do this is because it really helps out the channel and it helps us to create more videos for you guys if you go and share these videos. You're basically telling YouTube, hey, I love Warhammer 40K content. I love these guys because they continue to put out Warhammer 40 content every single day, so promote their stuff, and then it helps us out. A reoccurring theme that I have noticed with all Primarchs is when a Primarch landed on their home planet, they usually conquered it for the better, with the exception of a couple of traitor Primarchs. But for the most part, when the Lion landed on his home world, he unified it, he defeated the beasts that were roaming, and he became the ruler. Same thing with the Night Lord's Primarch. He basically took, I forget the planet that he was from, but he basically took his planet and turned it from this chaotic, horrible, basically Gotham-esque city planet into somewhat of an organized planet. Later on, it didn't do so well for him, but that's the point that I was trying to make. It seems that with all the Primarchs, of course, Jagatai Khan is one of them, they come in, they unify, they make the planet better, and then the Great Crusade comes in, picks them up, and then turns the planet to shit. Usually, or like the lore explains it, that the planet usually goes back to the way that it was because the Space Marine Legion needed neophytes to draw from that planet. That's why when you look at Leman Russ, his home world of Fenris is still full of warring tribes. You take this for example, all of the tribes go back to their feudal state, and it's all after the Primarchs are gone. So it's very interesting to me that the Great Crusade is supposed to be, or was supposed to be, this huge parade of enlightenment. When it reached a planet, it was supposed to make it better. But in reality, what it did was it brought it back to chaos by taking away the Primarch. Many times over, it made it even worse than it was, or it outright destroyed it, because there have been a lot of homeworlds that have been destroyed by their Primarchs, or by something that their Primarchs have done. So it's just interesting how GW has set that up, whereas the Imperium, yet again, is painting this ideal of it being like the savior to humanity. It reaches planets and it civilizes the planets. But in reality, even back in the Dark Crusade, it didn't make the planets better. Another reason why you should turn to chaos and just ignore the false emperor. He's selling you guys this beautiful concept, but in reality, what he's doing is he's bringing corruption, greed, and the imperial creed into your planet. I'm not a heretic, so don't start commenting heretic, because that's not my role. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to say, there's Tau starter sets. Go pick up some Tau Empire and start your own Tau army. They're better shooters. They might not be good in close combat, but hey, they treat you right. I'm just saying. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me ramble on about the lore of Warhammer 40K. And it's because of you guys that we can continue doing this. Now, I've said in multiple videos before, this is the month of October, and in the month of October, we're going to create more creepypastas, basically Goosebump-esque type of stories, and so far so good. We've created a couple of them. We just have to put them out. Now, not all of them are going to be on YouTube. A lot of them are going to be on Patreon, so they're going to be Patreon exclusive. And I've actually gotten into a really good flow where I can see myself continuing to create my own Warhammer 40K fluff and post it on Patreon at least once a week. So if you want to support us on Patreon, it's a simple $1 a month, but now on top of that, you're getting extra content, or you will starting the closer we get to Halloween, so probably the last 2 weeks, you guys are going to get exclusive content on there. So jump on over there, explore, because we already have some Greater War episodes that are there, exclusive for Patreon. You can go back and watch how wrong me and the Sound Alchemist were when we said, no, GW's never going to bring back the Primarchs, and then all of a sudden, boom, Magnus the Red. All of a sudden, boom, Gilliman. It's a really big egg on our face, basically. But yeah, you have that exclusive content. If you can't support us on Patreon, we completely understand. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, especially hitting that little bell notification icon, it really helps out the channel. But with that said, guys, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. If you have any requests, comment down below. And yeah, this was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.